Today we're going to be doing some drywall taping. We got a pretty basic job today. We've got some butt joints. I got an inside corner. I've got a few patches. On the other side of the wall, I've got a newfie patch. You can see how I cut that in the last video. I'll be using mesh tape on these patches here because they need a bit of pre-fill and they're pretty solid, so they're not going to move. So mesh tape's okay on stuff that's not going to crack. It's good and solid. Inside corners, you want to use paper tape, and any long joints that don't have as much support as these guys, you want to use paper tape. When in doubt, just use paper tape. You just got to make sure you use wet mud, and it's got to be all-purpose works, but you should use embedded mud, or just make sure it's sticky. We're going to do some prep work. Some of the prep work is make sure there's nothing sticking up. You can use the back of your knife to bang in anything that's sticking up. Make sure your screws are nice and embedded. Use a screwdriver. Once you get everything prepped up, you want to go through and pre-fill any big joints. This stuff we can do mesh tape, so I can actually do pre-fill and a coat on the mesh tape, which is nice and helps that out. But everything else we're going to be using paper tape. So let's get started. Clean all this stuff up, anything that's sticking out, where there's misses. That's what that's for. Around these receptacles where it's good and solid, and I have some gaps that need to be pre-filled, I can just use mesh tape, fiber tape, whatever you want to call it. For pre-fill, I'm going to mix up a little bit of this Lite Sand 20 in my mud pan. This stuff works pretty good for small stuff. They have 45 and they have 90, so if you're doing a bunch, you want to go longer. So it's basically 20 minutes it starts to set up. That's going to depend too how much water you put in it, what the temperature of the water is. But for this, we're just doing a bunch of small stuff. Mix this up. We'll pre-fill. I'll take you out there and show you how I'm going to patch up that newfie patch using this stuff too. So I'll put in a little bit less than what I think I need, because you're going to kind of go back and forth, add mud, till you get a nice consistency. When you're pre-filling, you can go a little thick so that it doesn't fall out of there. You just mix it up with the pre-fill. If it's a little chunky or you won't get a perfect mix, it's usually not the end of the world. There's a bit there, not bad. Use a little bit bigger knife here. More mud on there. First, you just want to get the mud on there. Then we're going to smooth it all out. Right, start in the corner and the top and pull it down nice and easy. Yeah, look at your knife too. Sometimes they have a bit of a, I don't know if you can see that. They're not always straight. So you want to have your bowed side out so you're not leaving little lines. So anyways, that should be good there. Apply pressure on the right side to feather that edge, just kind of clean it up. Just like that. Don't worry too much about these lines and everything. We're gonna get them all after. I'm gonna clean this corner up a little bit. That should be good. Beautiful. I'm going to do this with paper tape, so I just want to pre-fill. Time to tape this Newfie patch. So I cut this. You can see in the last video I cut her and it just fits just good enough. I mean, it's nice and flat. You don't need any blocking. I wouldn't go too much bigger than that, but you can. So what I want to do is get this thing really embedded with mud. Just like that. You can use regular compound, like all-purpose or embedding, but it's going to take forever to get it to dry. Now I got to be careful because I got a pocket door in there and I don't want to get mud stuck in there and I can't close the door. So just like that. Get enough mud on the walls. Right? So you got it all inside. I'll even take and make sure it's on here. Just like that. Again, I don't want it. And stick her in. This receptacle makes it fun. Just like that. Okay. You don't want to take so much out. You don't want to take all the mud out. Because you want to make sure it's going to stick. But you also want it pretty flat. Beautiful. Okay, that's good. Now, I'm trying to get this all done quick, so I'm just going to go right over top of it with the first coat. Now, I also have to do around this receptacle a little bit. Which is not going to be fun. Now as this stuff's starting to set up, that one's pretty good. You can go through and get rid of all the high stuff. That way you don't have to worry about sand and anything. This one took a little longer. If you get there a little earlier, sometimes you can work it in and anyways, just scrape off all the high stuff. You don't have to sand everything. This one's not too bad, but I got a little bit of stuff here. This comes off. Ready for the taping part. Mixed up some 20. This is a little bit wetter than what I used before. It helps the tape stick. I'm going to use paper tape. So, don't have much time, so let's get to her. Okay, you want to start in the middle. Don't squish out so much that there's nothing left in there to hold it, but you want to get it nice and flat. So for the corner, you're going to take your tape, pre-measure it, rip it off, fold it up, just like that. Start in the middle.